Cousin the Crow. We're back live, I think. This is the march, taking back housing, the event on Facebook. Well, he's not feeling good today, but I promise I'm going to do something. I do it. Here I am. Hungover and feeling like shit. You see Devine? Right on. Oh. Interesting. This should be interesting. So we got some real characters here today. Yeehaw! Hey! I decided to do my my thing. We don't have very many people. I'd say maybe that's about 100. Michael. Toward the end, so I'm going to zoom up to the front. Lots of comedians out today. It should be fun, though. Not better than a good joke. Whoa, pretty tight for the traffic. I didn't see no police again. No, there's some up there, yeah.
Homeless people under attack. What do we do? Affordable housing under attack. What do we do? Single mothers under attack. What do we do? Under attack. What do we do? Fight back.
I say I'm coming out, I do it. Stick to your guns, eh? That's it. Right on, brother. Whoa, I gotta get me one of those. And here we are. This is a Seton House. Where we have a lot of homeless people. Lots of homeless people. Smile! Smile! Hurry up, hurry up! Starting up here.
Stop the war on the board! Take your head today! Stop the war on the board!
This place to stop outside the shelter. And around here. Michael.
But we just want to talk a little bit what's happening here behind us. This is Eaton House, which is Canada's largest men's hostel. And like I said, I don't want to stay here because people deserve a lot of time back here. I want to apologize to anybody here who we don't need to do. We just want to talk about what's going to happen here. Okay? So I'll be better. Some people say something I want to talk, okay? So what's happening here is that there's 543 beds. And the city is planning on getting rid of over 400 of them, 443. Just so you know. And it's important that people have shelter and food. If we don't have housing and money, it's very important. And I bet you if you were to walk through this institution right now, you would talk to people, and you could give people housing right now, they would take it immediately rather than staying here. I talked to lots and lots of men in here. And the first question they ask you is, where can I find housing? Because it's so hard to find. As a result, they're stuck here. Now, I said I would talk about some people, and I just want to tell this story here because it's relevant. On February 2nd, 1996, Erwin Anderson, a 63-year-old Aboriginal man, froze to death on these streets. That same month, Eugene Upper and Erwin Kapani froze to death. And I remember that when that happened. What was happening at that time is Eaton House was so full that they were forced to put mattresses in the hallways because they had no room for people. They were forced to open Moss Park Armory for 2 weeks because they had nowhere to go. Erwin Anderson actually had a bed booked here that night, but he never made it. He froze to death at Broadview and Gerrard. That's where he died, on those streets. As a result of that, many of us began to organize around those 3 men that froze to death and others that were dying on our streets. And again, you can talk to anybody in this shelter and they can tell you about friends that they've lost on these streets. They can probably tell you about people who've died in this very institution that don't wake up in the morning.
Sorry about that. About a reach.
We've heard those stories. So when those 3 people froze to death, we organized and we went and we said, we want you to inquire, to have an inquest in terms of what's going on. Why are these people dying on the streets? We knew. So we organized, and that summer there was an inquest. And the jurors from that inquest decided, in their wisdom, that all levels of government should build people housing so that they don't die on those streets. But the other thing that they did is they said that they should open up a wet hostel because that's Erwin Anderson and Eugene Upper. One of their problems is that they self-medicated and they had to drink every once in a while. There are many a person who tells me in order to go into these places, they have to drink a little bit before they go in because of the stress, to relieve the stress. And that's exactly what was happening. So one of the recommendations was that the annex, that a shelter be open for people to drink, some of the older guys. And inside this building, second or third floor, I don't know, I think it's the third floor, the annex program is there. Fourth floor, I've been told. And there's a program there, I think over 100 men each night stay there. That is one of the programs that they want to shut down. on them. Last year, if you look, right beside Seton House is a place called the Schoolhouse that also allowed men to drink there way back. And there was a big fight to save the schoolhouse because the city wanted to shut down. 55 men were going there every night. We managed to fight and keep it open, and now there are 40 beds there. They wanted people to drink, but at least there are beds there now. And it's important to have these places. If you don't have housing, you don't have money, then you need these places. Okay, so we're going to move on, and I really want to thank the men that are here for being patient with us and for intruding. And I know that it's hard to watch us go by and leave you in this situation, in this kind of situation. And I know I've been around for about 25 years, and I know many of the people who are in here. And it's really, really hard to watch people, you know, that you might care about have to live like this. So again, I want to thank you, and I hope that when you have the strength and you feel that you're up to it, that you join these kinds of demonstrations so that we can begin to fight not for maybe to close this down, but to actually build some housing so that, you know what, if you want to close this place down, then you make sure 400 people here have housing, right? Let's empty it out and then let's house people. So thanks you again. Thank you.
Mark.
Solidarity! 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 Solidarity!
Taking it back. Oh, did I cut you off? Did I do that? Did I do that? There we go.
Why couldn't I just live stream? It looks so much easier.
At times, yeah. Hi, young fella. How are you? How you doing? You always make it out. Good to see a young fella.
Stop the war on the floor, make the rich pay. We won't go away. Stop the war on the floor, make the rich pay. We're angry. We won't go away. Stop the war on the floor, make the rich pay.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
Figure out what that big Boston back there.
When do we want it?
That's it. I like before. That's the way to be. Oh, it's the Cupid bus. That's what that is. I was wondering what that bus was. Cupid Union. They backed us up. We're at Occupied Toronto in the park. I like it. Wow. Oh, there's troublemaker Miguel. There they get back up to the front. Sunday, September 22nd. All indoors. Gathering indoors. Hey! ¿Cómo está usted? Bien, not too cold, eh? Not like yesterday. We got soaked on at the City Hall.
I know.
Excuse me.
I had other errands to do, but how was the pizza thing?
It was good. Nice, yeah. I got soaking wet. I think I'm still feeling a little sick. I don't feel like doing what I'm doing, but if I do it, I do it. Eh?
Okay. Good for you, man.
All right, brother. I'll see you up at the front. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
take it easy.
I'm in the rear now.
You're in arrears.
Yeah. I'm in trouble.
Oh, always. He's a big activist. He doesn't really like police. He's had bad dealings with it. Give me that camera. Don't give that man a horn. Where are we going? Bone man's here. Whoops, did I do that? It's more media than there are.
Where's the captain?
There's no media at all. I mean, like mainstream media at all. Not at all. Well, they got Ford with the Prime Minister today, so I guess they're concentrating on that. Young Street.
Oh, yeah.
TIFF after party still going on.
Right.
They don't care about
Word
it.
on the street.
They don't want to give us any attention.
Right.
Oh, we'll do it our own.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Do you post it?
Yeah, and then I post it to the page. I'll post it to the
To the
page.
OCAP page?
Yeah. OCAP, I can post it there too as well, yeah.
Oh, so where else do you post it?
To the page, Taking It Back, Housing on
Taking
Facebook.
It Back, yes, okay.
But I'll send it to OCAP too.
Oh, cool.
You know, me and John Clark are friends.
Oh, good. What's your name?
Jamie, how's the crow?
Okay. I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Oh, again. Fillmore. Let's go for a table then. We are now in one of the poorest and roughest parts of the city. Oh, thank you. Again? Boy, you guys are camera hogs.
Can you hold my camera for a second while I
Tie your shoe.
tie my shoe?
As bad as that shoe at home. You can clean up and wash it.
this to on video so there's evidence. If you tweet my Twitter account once more, I'm going to talk.
Oh, troublemaker. Will you steal that? Can I use that? You use this one. I'm going to use that one. Don't drive out the pool. Sorry about that. I'm cutting off a guy with crutches. Here we are, Sherbourne and Dundas. Going down Sherbourne. Bike trails. Cool. Yick! You got a lot of energy today. Let's see where we're going now. Hold on. Rubber arm. Rubber arm mounts I just cut out and come back in and see where we're at battery-wise. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to concentrate more on pictures. Okay, here we go. They just broke into there. That's cool. See that? They knocked the fence over. Let's see what the police will do. This will be interesting now. This is going to be interesting. Never a dull moment. I don't know what this is. Private property. It looks like an abandoned park to me.
Oh yeah.
Rich pay. We're angry. You won't go away. Stop the war on the farm. Rich pay. We're hungry. We're angry.
Well, the poor.
Oh, you're just going to cut out. That's in the face. Have something interesting going on here. I don't know what kind of property this is. But like a good idea.
We will take it.
Good talking to you.
We will take it.
Home away from home.
Like it?
You can see there's something up there already, so it looks like we're going to have some fun here.
Yeah, go ahead and zip it.
I think we can get that. Can I bring the bus in?
There's a nice patch of grass here that we intend to spend the night on.
Move my bike so they can put up this final sign here. Shoot! Okay, so let's go in. Have a look and see. Wow, this looks like they've been here a while, Mike.
Just north of here. This big building here, in 2008, actually housed some 15 to 20 people. And there were another 25 to 30 that were living in the two houses that were here before they tore them down. It was very important to have this kind of housing for people because although this particular landlord was a bit of a slumlord.
I know you too.
It was housing. And people could semi-afford to come in here. And they could live here and then walk across the street and get food from the Friendship Center and get their services. But in 2008, these were shut down, probably by the residents and the businesses in the city, for a number of infractions. But another part of our history is very important here, and I mentioned that I would mention 3 people during this march. The last person that I want to talk about is Doreen Gilbert. Doreen Gilbert. Just let them scream and then they'll whirl. So the reason is that
I like this get up. I need to get my bike.
Hey, Joe, hi.
You woke up with a hangover or something?
1985. Froze to death in the abandoned truck. She was 2:30. She was found in an abandoned truck. And people, Barry Jr. in particular, was the one who always has told me about the story. He walked across the truck. The woman who was found in the abandoned.
Hey, Saeed. How you doing, man? Good. This is interesting, eh? Never a dull moment. Excuse me.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Demanding that some action be taken, because at the time, single adults were not able to get subsidized housing. There was an inquest.
That guy's still screaming up there.
In February of 1986 around her death, screening death. And as a result of that, the province in the end decided to build over 3,000 units for single adults. As a matter of fact, the housing behind the church over there was built in around 1989 or so.
Bro's taking a break for a second.
Actually, we're around when she died. They live in that building right now. And have lived there since then. And again, that is part of our history. So it's really, really important to know these stories, because these are our people. And when these rooming houses go, and when the services go, when the poor go, so there's that history. That history is gone then. And it's up to us to keep that history. But more importantly, it's important for us to make sure that we have a place for us to live, that we can afford. And we want safe, livable housing. And this is a spot that would be perfect for that. And one of the reasons that this is important is because if you walk down the Dundas corridor, you'll see that this is one of the last corners that has not been gentrified. If you go to the corner of Jarvis and Dundas, you'll see 2 big hotels, the Grand Hotel, and you'll see another hotel on the north side there. And across you'll see a condo development that's going on. And as a result of that, people are being displaced. Those buildings were given up by the federal government in the late 1990s. And if you go just east of here, you'll see Regent Park being torn apart. So now we have this corner here, which is, we say is ours. If you look across the street, All Saints Church, in the 1970s became a community center. And it was very, very important for us to have that. So what we're saying is we want services here, we want housing. And we're going to be going on Monday morning, tomorrow morning, to the city to ask to expropriate this land. It was done in Parkdale in 1495. You can look at the leaflet that's being handed right now that has all that history. So we're going to try and bunker in for those of you today. We have some speakers that are going to be coming up in a second. And we also got some entertainment coming and all that kind of stuff. So if you just take a moment, we'll get organized. Hey, by the way, we're going to have a bit of an audience from some of the people up there. If you could just ignore them, the more you encourage them, the more they'll... Okay. And We have a nice banner that's just been hung from the squat there.
Picture time.
So our next speaker is
Hello, everyone. I just want to say to that person screaming up there, this is our neighborhood. Bay Street is not our neighborhood. Those people over there, they don't know us. They don't care about us. The people right around here, they care about us. This is where a lot of people that are standing here right now, this is where we live. I live in the Shinaabe Homes, which is that church in Dundas. I live in a room. There's some other people with me right now that live in there. There's 60 First Nations people living there in rooms, waiting for housing. Okay? We're waiting for housing. So I've been in activism for a long time. I've known OCAP a long time, since my Kitchener days. I'm going to just read out some things. My friend Joan, who's right over there, she's giving me a paper, and I took some things out of it. So this is, I also kind of took this title from a poem that I got about sexually abused women, but I'm using it because I really like it. It's called The Passing Dreams of Choice. Okay, so poor, underhoused, or homeless people are part of this community. Just because you don't want to see us, we are still here. Where should we go? We are not just an eyesore. This is our neighborhood. Just like I said, this is true. This is our neighborhood. We know each other. We care about what happens here. And we do. We see each other when we eat dinner at Oak Street, or when we go to Osgood, or that church right over there. There's many places, right? Council Fire, etc., etc. We all meet each other there. Okay? We know each other. We deserve to be here. We do. We deserve to be here. Why should we be driven out of this neighborhood? Just because we're poor?
And we'll fucking do anything we want.
That's right. This area is an important part of Turtle Island. This area is an important part of Turtle Island. Where we just left, Allen Gardens, is actually a burial ground. Okay? People don't know this whole area right here is so special to First Nations people. Just to let you guys know. People with money and homes have more rights than marginalized people. They have more rights to safety. And that's true. They have water. We don't. They have more rights. They have food, clean water than people living outside.
Put it down for a second. Upside down. Ooh-wee.
When people enter parks and other common areas, they are entering people's homes. These parks and these areas that people come to, it's actually where people hang out, see their friends, and live and sleep. It's not just a park to a lot of people. It's their home. When you live in a room, you can live in a small space. That's what I live in. And sometimes you need to escape that, especially if you have any claustrophobia or any triggering issues. So you do go outside even when it's cold. You can't stay in a room forever. It's very small. So you do run out to the parks and other places. But here's some statistics that Joan gave me this paper. It's actually started in 1996. It's the Royal Commission on Aboriginal Peoples. This study was done 2009-2010. And I can speak a little bit about this after. 40% of off-reserve Aboriginal people live in poverty. Aboriginal people living in urban areas are twice as likely to live in poverty than non-Aboriginals. 45% higher growth rate for Aboriginals per population. So our population is growing 45% higher than an 8% population of the rest of Canada. And yet, we only get 7,000 to 8,000 of per capita spending compared to 15,000 to 16,000 for non-Aboriginals. The government is cutting us short with more and more First Nations people leaving reserves and moving to the city. We need housing. And the reason that First Nations people are leaving their reserves is because the government is moving in to get all the resources. I mean, a lot of people here already know that and are fighting that through the mining and through other resources that are being taken. But that's what's happening. They're driving people off their traditional territories because they can't live there anymore. We know people that can't eat the food that's growing on the reserves. They come down here and there's no housing. That's Harper's plan. Get everybody off the reserves and bring them down here and then move in and take the reserve and take all the natural resources. These are real facts. These are real studies that are done. And when you're living it day in and day out and you see people suffering, especially elders of all nations, that walking by George Street to see those elder men, it breaks my heart. It really does. They don't deserve that. They don't. That's all I'm going to say because I just can't go on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have a sound system ready now, so we're going to move to the sound system.
My battery's going soon.
Let's keep for a cigarette.
I'm not feeling good today.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm still doing it, bro. Yeah, so you got two
I'm
strong
here.
arms, two strong legs. Do it.
I'm right here.
Why aren't you up? Eh?
You
scared of heights?
No, I just don't have a flag over my face.
Interesting.
Hey, you can't see me.
They know you.
Exactly. I'm the only motherfucker here that might
This is our neighborhood, buddy.
Tattooed on your head. He's quiet now.
No, I'm the only one that has a tattoo in my kind, in my nature. A really vulgar tattoo on my chest. I got it done. It says.
Exactly. You're tagged forever.
Be careful. Be careful.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, we need you.
We
Be
have
careful.
a speaker, I'm sure you can hear this. And just so that people know that are living in this community, and particularly the people in social housing over here, we want to let them know that although we intend to spend the night here, we are going to be leaving in the morning. And we apologize for any disturbance that we might have if you have kids who return to sleep. We'll try after a certain time to be very quiet in terms of not disturbing the environment that you live in. So again, just want to reassure people behind us here that our intention is just to stay till tomorrow morning and then to go to City Hall. So next speaker is Zoe.
Hi, my name is Zoe Dodd, and I've been a long-time harm reduction worker in this neighborhood. I'm also a member of the Toronto Drug Users Union and a person who's used drugs for 27 years. Drug users are some of the most stigmatized and marginalized people in this community. There are people who are targeted on a regular basis, and they're used as a scapegoat and a way to discriminate towards people, to kick them out of their neighborhoods and rally business associations and residents associations against them. People who use drugs live in our communities. People who use drugs are everywhere. And it knows no socio-economic background. HIV and hepatitis C are a huge rates in this community. Hepatitis C affects homeless people 30 times higher than it does the general population. Majority of people get infected by hepatitis C through injection drug use. But harm reduction isn't just about giving kits and needle exchanges and safe injection sites. It's about people being in our communities. It's about people living in our communities who are supported, who we don't target, who we don't rally around and try to kick the fuck out. So many services have tried to be put in this neighborhood. There was a methadone clinic that tried to go in recently where the condo owners met and had their big meeting and opposition of it in the condo sales center. And when they found out the methadone clinic wasn't going in their neighborhood, they all cheered. A bunch of white middle-class assholes who bought up condos in this area. And I say that because their whole campaign was so fucking discriminatory against the people who live here. It was appalling, it was rude, and seriously, they didn't want druggies in the community because they want to vilify them and stigmatize them and kick them out because it's called social cleansing. It's what we do when we don't like people, when we find people undesirable. We push them out of the neighborhoods and communities that they belong in and that they live in. People are moving into this neighborhood. They're moving and they're buying up condos and they're gentrifying it and they're bullying and picking on people who have lived here a really fucking long time. This building that's here is a building I used to do outreach in. I got to go inside this building recently and look inside, and it's so incredible. There's 30 rooms in this building. There were a lot of people who lived in this building. And drugs, a lot of people use drugs, and it isn't about, I actually think addiction as a disease is a myth. But a lot of people are dealing with dislocation. They're dealing with being chucked out of their communities. They're dealing with living in poverty. They're dealing with being stigmatized. They're dealing with being kicked out of their housing. And so harm reduction services are something that are integral to this community. It's something we've been fighting for, to keep in this community, to help keep people alive, to keep people healthy. But harm reduction isn't just about that. It's also about fighting for, ending poverty. It's about fighting back. It's about building housing. It's about fighting capitalism and ending the fucking socio-systemic structures that exist that keep us down. That's what it's about. So I'm happy to be here today. I'm happy to fight back. I believe in fighting to win. And I'm fucking staying here tonight because that's what we need to do. We need to take these buildings back. We need to take this Rita's house back. People should be living in this house. 60 people lived in this fucking house. Nobody lives in this house. And no one has lived in this house since 2008. And that's a total shame. No housing should be empty when we have 90,000 people on a waiting list and we have people not getting into shelters and have nowhere to sleep at night. It's disgusting. Anyway, fight to win.
Okay, our next speaker is from Health Against Poverty.
Hi everyone, I'm here on behalf of Health Providers Against Poverty with the group, and we're here to speak out against Toronto's failure to address the housing crisis in Toronto. The lack of affordable housing in this city is causing worse health, and people are dying on the streets. There's increasing income inequality in Ontario, and at the same time we're seeing the provincial government continue to cut essential funds and services for people on the lower end of the income spectrum. In January, we saw cuts to the Community Startup and Maintenance Benefit. It was replaced by the Housing Stabilization Fund, which unfortunately will end, and that funding will be lost. We just heard from Zoe that the housing wait list in Toronto, there's 90,000 households on the waiting list, and it's up to 10 years. That's not a solution. It's an absolute failure of the system. As health providers, we see patients whose health is worse because they do not have access to safe and affordable housing. Research shows that people who don't have a healthy place to live are at higher risk of many serious diseases. Our message to the City of Toronto is clear. We need housing, and we need it now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is un ami de Montréal. There's a group of people you might have noticed that have come from Montreal, and Richard's going to talk a little bit about where he's coming from and where they're organizing in the community. And so I'm going to ask Richard to come and talk and explain why he's here.
Camarades et amis, comrades and friends, brothers and sisters, it's always a privilege to come to Toronto, especially when it's to help out our comrades from OCAP. Is it okay? I don't think I need the mic. Is it okay like this? Okay. This way? Okay. So, it's always a pleasure to come to Toronto, especially when it's to help out the homeless in downtown, the downtown area of this place. I've been coming here since 1991, the very beginnings of OCAP. At that time, we had a group in Montreal called the Comité des Sans Emploi, and through the next 15 to 20 years, we were like brothers and sisters. People from OCAP coming to Montreal, and people from the Comité des Sans Emploi coming to Toronto. We occupied, we expulsed members of Parliament from their offices. We rolled down welfare office doors. We confronted the politicians. We confronted the cops. And
go to BAM user.
So when we heard that there was a problem with the housing question again, with
CamillionMedia.tv.
we decided to come and help.
Cut out soon.
So
if you don't get this feed anymore,
I'm here
you can go to
now as a militant of the Internationalist Workers Group, but especially the Popular Autonomous Assembly of South Central Montreal that said if internationalists salutations to all the demonstrators here. Thus, we come in the spirit of unity, in the struggle.
How's the crow? I guess
And what is the importance?
because my battery's going low. I'll let it go for a while.
Only 2 months ago, the discussions in Montreal after the great 2012
Any comments? I don't know. I can't even get this thing to post on Facebook since I updated this to iOS 7 and all that other junk. Let's get my coffee. There we go. Can't get back to Facebook. Can't do a lot of things because this is new iOS. Anyway. I'll let my battery go all the way and then I'll cut out.
So, only 2 months ago, the debate in Quebec, the political discourse in Quebec, was a discourse of class struggle. And yes, we do call it class struggle because
the protest came by and woke me up. I've been sick for 2 days.
No. Today,
how are you doing?
Good, man. I think I'm a little sick.
talking about it.
Oh, yeah. The Toby.
A charter of so-called Québécois values, as if human values change when you cross the Ottawa River.
Choppy, yeah, until I upload this stuff at home, it's going to be really bad. Well, I find when you upload it, it's better. You should monitor.
That person lives in Toronto, in Timbuktu, or in Montreal.
Yeah, 63. It's telling me right now I got 63
This
stream health.
is a hypocritical diversion, a move of division to
Thanks, Brad.
divide us, and to put under constraint minority rights and the other religions.
Can barely hear both of you. Okay. And the funny thing is they switched something on iOS 7 to microphone so you can hear me louder.
Say, oh, it's not right to put a scarf on your head if you're a nurse or a secretary because you believe in Islam. It's not right to wear a kippah if you're a functionary in an office because you believe in a Jewish faith, etc., etc. This coming from a government and a movement that claims to be nationalist and has the Christian cross on this provincial flag, that still has the crucifix in the National Assembly. Shame on them, hypocrites! Down with nationalism, long live the unity of the working class. So there's 20 of us here today, and we're coming back because in the same way that hundreds of you came to support the student strike in 2012, in the same way that the student movement in Ontario sent tens of thousands of dollars to support